finish that later.
And welcome to another episode of Rankum. It's a very special episode today. We've got all Take 3 members for a change. And returning, he hasn't been here for a while because he's in the real world, is Matt Kearns. Matt, how's it going?
I believe Andy Dwyer said it best. You know, it's going good, except the fact that I'm always tired and nothing really matters. It's great. I'm happy to be here. I haven't been on Take 3 content in 2 weeks because I started a new job. And I come home and all I want to do is sleep. So, but Misa back.
Also, someone else who hasn't been on Take 3 content for a while is Robert. Robert, how are you feeling?
Yeah, it's been a long while, and I'm happy to be back for something like this. So I'm really looking forward to it, man.
And also here we've got Doug. Doug, how's it going?
Doug's always on Take 3 shit now.
I am always on Take Shit right now.
Take Shit 3 now, yeah.
Yeah, I can speak, guys. I know probably.
Rob, this is who we left in our place while
Well,
we
shit.
Listen, guys. Yeah, no, I don't know how to speak at all. Sickness does that to people.
Well, yeah.
But anyway, this is the first time we've had a DC list in a while. Might actually be the first DC list we've done because we've had a lot of Marvel related ones.
We've had a lot of Marvel ones. I'm just saying, Malcolm. How much are they paying you, huh? Do they pay you in Lord of the Rings books or something?
I mean, I tried sending Marvel a hashtag give Malcolm a job, but they didn't hear back from me. But
Wow.
Wow, that was subtle, Malcolm.
But anyway, how the show works is we each go around and nominate a these two we think belong on the list. Because we've only got 4 people here, the person who's nominating, their vote won't count. It'll be down to the other 3 to get it on the list, which for most part we may all disagree on most of them anyway, but we'll find out. Robert, what's the first pick you're going to throw out there?
All right, so with the exception of this first one, a lot of mine are going to be a little bit more movie-centric than maybe comics or TV or other mediums. But not this first one, because this first one I don't think has had great representation on screen, but really is just such an exciting, really energetic, engaging character, and that is Dick Grayson. So that's first as Robin and then Nightwing, all the iterations of that character. I just think that he's my favorite Robin for sure. I love it when he becomes Nightwing, starts doing stuff over in Bloodhaven. I mean, the best on-screen representation we've had is Chris O'Donnell. And that's, awesome. It is what it is, but
that is awesome.
It's okay. But I mean, Michael Cera, I guess, too, in Lego Batman. But I just think that this is a character that is overlooked way too much. So I'm going to go with Dick Grayson.
Matt, what do you say about Nightwing?
100% Dick Grayson. I actually look at him more as Nightwing. Nightwing is one of my favorite superheroes, period. DC, Marvel, Image, whatever you want to say. I think what makes Dick Grayson such a great character is kind of like what Rob said, is you see the progression of the character. You see him start off as the Flying Graysons and then becoming a pupil of Bruce Wayne and then growing into his own person. I think it's really cool, and there's been a lot of great iterations of him in comic books. My personal favorite is still the animated series one. I think on that show he was really just so well done. So yeah, of course, Nightwing gets a yes.
Doug, what do you say about Nightwing?
I'm sure this won't be my easiest yes of the night, but this is certainly one of the easiest yes I will give out. Dick Grayson is my favorite sidekick to turn actual hero. Just in general, Dick is kind of the golden standard of Robins. He's what every Robin aims to be. Some of us are not minded of children. So No, but absolutely. I think when he becomes Nightwing, even when he leaves the mantle of Nightwing and dies, spoiler for anybody that doesn't know the comics series, Grayson, when he becomes a secret spy is friggin' phenomenal. If you've read any of that, it's beautiful. But yeah, it's an easy yes. Sorry.
Yeah, Nightwing would have been an easy use for me too. And I've actually started to come around on the Nightwing that's in the Titans TV show. I think he's actually coming into his own, especially with this new season that's been on for last few weeks. But yeah,
Look,
with that
it might take
Nightwing,
a while for Dick to rise, but he always will.
Low hanging fruit.
Matt,
That's
what's the
bizarre,
next one?
Jesus.
Matt,
Jesus.
All right, look, all right, guys, it's me. I haven't been on Take Free content in a while. I gotta make up for something here. Yeah, okay. Shocker. The first one out. It's the Man of Steel. It's Superman. What I love about this character is the fact that he has been one of the faces of DC since it started. He started DC, and the fact is that this character has evolved and changed. Has stayed relevant. Like when you compare him to other faces, like how the Fantastic Four were really the face of Marvel Comics when it started, but they've kind of fallen off. Superman hasn't. He still is relevant. The fact that you can still go out and ask people, do you know who Superman is? And they'll go, yes. And it doesn't matter if they're talking about the movies or the animated stuff or the comics. This character is endlessly fascinating in so many mediums. So yeah, Superman. What more can you say?
Doug, what do you say about Superman?
While the Ultimate Boy Scout is not my favorite comic book character, I do think he deserves to be on this list. You can't mention DC without Superman. There's two characters that are initially, if you mention DC, they get brought up, and Superman is one of them. Yeah, it's a yes.
Yeah, this is probably one of my easy yeses for this because, like, in the upcoming crossover Infinite Earth crossover and average, you're going to have about 3 different Supermen.
Look at every Supermen are in that.
And I mean, there may be many more that hasn't been announced yet.
CGI and Chris Reeve and George Reeves.
But
oh my god, I would love that actually.
I don't think they have the budget.
But yeah, Superman is easiest for me. Robert, what do you say about Superman?
Well, no, I'm kidding. No. I still stand by the fact that there has not been a great Superman movie. But again, this is from movie perspectives. I think the best one is Superman Returns, and none of the others are better than fine. But yeah, I mean, obviously, it's like one of the 2 staples of DC. So of course, yeah.
Doug, what's the next character you're going to bring up?
So normally for this show, I normally throw out like Hail Marys, and I'm so glad the other 2 people didn't throw out this character first, because he is my favorite superhero, favorite comic book character of all time, and that would be the Dark Knight himself, Batman. You can't mention DC, just like Superman, you can't mention DC without the Dark Knight. His revamping in the 1980s was quintessentially what gave us 89 Batman, which is ridiculously still holds up today. You wouldn't have gotten any other Batman movie without that revamping. Even going back to the golden age of comics, he was a super solid character. Always was a super solid character. He is what I love most about DC. So Batman's on the table, guys.
Talking about things rising, but
So that was clever.
all right. Rob.
I'm giving you shit.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, I'm going to give Batman a hell yes. But yeah, like I tend to gravitate to Superman more than Batman, but Batman I do enjoy just as much too. And it's going to be interesting to see sort of what Robin Pattinson brings to the role in the Batman coming out somewhere down the line. Robert, what do you say about Batman?
Yeah, absolutely. This is my favorite DC superhero. What I like most, especially if we're coming from a movie perspective, is each actor brings something really genuinely unique to the role. Like Batman's been portrayed by so many people and has been seen in so many movies, but none of the versions feel repetitive. None of them are like the other ones. They're all different in their own way, for better or worse. I mean, that's what I like. I like Keaton's more dark. You got Clooney being whatever Clooney's doing.
Whatever.
But then you get Bale, you get Affleck. Like there are just a lot of versions of this character, and none of them are the same. They're all unique, and that's what I like most about this character in film, for sure. And I mean, the Batman Arkham video game series is my favorite video game series of all time. So, yeah, absolutely.
But and Matt, what would you have said about Batman?
Look, I have actually. I was gonna say I only have one comic book poster on my wall, but one of them you guys see it behind my shoulder on every Take 3 video. Who's on it? It's Batman and Superman. All right, they are my two favorites. Similar to Rob, I love the fact that there are many interpretations of this character, and you can have your favorites. Personally, I'm a guy who I love Keaton, Affleck, and Kilmer, all for different reasons. I also love Batman Beyond, Will Friedley's portrayal of that character. I think Batman is certainly someone who's still, the fact that we're still talking about having more Batman movies, and we're not like, we're all like, hey, this is cool, new interpretation, and the character's great. He's always been since his introduction. He doesn't seem to be slowing down. So yeah, of course, Batman was one of these definites.
But it's down back to me from the first one, and I'm going to bring up someone who's had a lot of great TV versions. Hasn't had the movie version that we've got so far is great, but until his live action solo movie comes, which has been pushed back and back and back because Ezra Miller just doesn't want it keeps delaying it.
The movie, but I'll get to it.
But I'm bringing up The Flash. The Flash is one of my favorite superheroes, and it's the one that I love more for the Arrowverse show, because it's one that his shows just keep on getting better and better for me. And while there's been some sort of weak episodes here and there, it hasn't been a lot for me to go off it. But even in the animated world, because I believe in one of the animated movies, I can't remember which one, the Flash is voiced by Lex Luthor, Michael Rosenberg.
That's in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. He voices
Flash.
Yeah. But Robert, what do you say about The Flash?
Yeah, definitely. This is I like Ezra Miller as Flash. I know a lot of people don't, but I like that sort of levity that he brings to the team in Justice League. And I'm not super up to date on all the Arrow's TV shows, but obviously, like, this is a character that's a mainstay for a reason. It's a very good character. Yeah.
Matt, what do you say about The Flash?
I mean, come on. My favorite superhero TV show of all time is The Flash 1990, which technically his first episode was a 90-minute TV movie, so technically The Flash does have a movie. John Wesley Shipp always will be my Flash. The portrayal he gave to that character on that show spoke to me when I was a kid, and it still speaks to me now, how there's a vulnerability to that character and a strength, and it made me love the character. And I love him in Justice League Unlimited. Michael Rooker's portrayal was great, and he had a great humor and wit to him. I like Ezra Miller as well. I think I like the fact that even though, which Grant Gustin was great, I like that they didn't copy Grant Gustin, which they could have easily done. They took a different spin on the character. Yeah, the Flash is great, and for a guy who, his powers could be kind of boring because it's like, oh, he just runs fast. A lot of different actors and writers have been able to make this character really interesting. So yeah. Flash, yes.
And Doug, what would you have said about the Flash?
The Flash does not have boring superpowers. Stop telling people that.
What?
No.
I meant more like his stuff.
I know what you meant. I'm just busting your balls. I'm just busting your balls. They haven't gotten Barry Allen correct in any iteration. Barry Allen is my favorite Flash. Comic book wise, he's on point. The closest they've gotten is the Flashpoint Paradox movie, because Justice League Unlimited is actually Wally West. Sorry. But the Flash is 100% yes. Barry Allen is the perfect Flash. I just wish that they would get him right in other medias.
Have you watched The Flash 1990?
It's still not correct. That's still not Barry Allen.
Yes, it is.
We'll argue this later. It's a yes.
What do you mean by it's not Barry Allen?
It's not Barry Allen. That's not comic book Barry Allen. I want the characteristics. I'm very particular. The Flash in the comic is one of my Barry Allen. The Flash in the comic is one of my favorite characters next to Batman. And they've gotten Batman to an extent correct. I have yet to see it.
We just talked about him. We all agreed with you, Doug.
Anyway, we could debate Flash characteristics before Robert. What's the next hero you're going to bring up?
My next one is maybe a little bit off kilter, but it's one that I think is a character that is endlessly fascinating. And it's not like initially thought of when we're talking DC, and that's going to be Rorschach from Watchmen. I think that first off, I think we need some kind of Watchmen on this list, and some may go Dr. Manhattan. Maybe we can bring it up later, but I think Rorschach is a character that is just fascinating to live in that character's mind, to live in that character's world. Jackie Earle Haley's performance in the movie version is incredible, and I have the collection of the graphic novel over there, and it's still incredible. Just telling this story through Rorschach's eyes is such a unique choice, and it's done so well in both the movie and the comic. I love the character of Rorschach. Maybe an anti-hero at times, but deep down really cares about justice and making sure that criminals get what they deserve. So that's why I'm going to say Rorschach.
Matt, what do you say about Rorschach?
So I have to base this just on the comics because I've actually still haven't gotten around to seeing the Watchmen movie. It's difficult to say. I like Rorschach a lot. I'm gonna say no just because there's another Watchmen character that I like more. But if he gets on the list, I won't be upset because, like Rob said, he is a really good character. If we're only gonna have one Watchmen character on this list, there's another that I would prefer over.
Doug, what do you say about Rorschach?
Listen, I love Rorschach. You'll notice me that I go towards the dark and moody characters. Rorschach definitely shows you the unstable side of what vigilantiness could be. He deep dives into the character. He doesn't take his mask off until he gets arrested. He sleeps in the damn thing. It's a yes. When you embody a character, I actually didn't think Watchmen when I was writing down my list. I'm glad that Robert brought him up. He's one of my favorite characters in Watchmen. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the Watchmen movie, but I'm not going to say that he doesn't belong on the list because the movie sucked and all that. I think Rorschach is great as a fine character. I'm going to say yes. I think he's an interesting character and all that. I don't think he's a top tier, but he belongs on the list. But Matt, what's your next nomination?
This is kind of difficult because I kind of want to talk about ones that are not like, oh yeah. So I'm gonna just draw up this one. Black Canary. Black Canary is a character in the comics and in the Justice League animated show that I've always really enjoyed. I've always liked her character. I like her relationship with Green Arrow. In fact, when it comes to the superhero women in DC, which there are actually a lot of, she's been able to stand out and be a really strong, interesting, compelling character in a lot of different mediums. So Black Canary.
Doug, what do you say about Black Canary?
I actually don't like Black Canary that much. I don't think she's been written well. I think she's been written okay. I think she's more of a side character in whatever she's in, even in her own comic books. She's there, but she's never been really a presence. Sorry. But I won't argue if she's on the list. I just don't think she deserves to be on the top 12. She's maybe top 20 at best.
Tell us how you really feel, Doug.
Sorry, guys.
It's not like I wrote her.
I'm not attacking the person that wrote her. I'm just saying she's an okay side character.
What if the creator of Black Canary was watching this and he was like, okay, you know it is.
I'm gonna draw this fat guy and make him get beat up now.
Hey, I mean, if the person that wrote Black Canary as pops in the chat, I'm going to personally send him the link so he can defend his.
Listen, dog, you idiot.
Listen.
But anyway, I'm also going to give Black Canary a no. I do like the character, and I think the way she's portrayed in the Arrowverse as well is great. But for what Doug said about her never really being able to stand out on her own, away from when it comes to other ones which may like be more in the spotlight than others. But yeah, Robert, what would you have said about Black Canary?
I also would have said no. I just don't know quite enough about this character to kind of get behind and support it, so I would have had to say no on this one.
But Doug, what's the next one you're going to bring up?
Hey, Matt. You absolutely can shoot this character down. I love this character though. So, while he wasn't a great Robin, he definitely became a great vigilante. The first character that DC ever put out a 1-800 number to say, should we kill this character or not? I definitely think he's an iconic character, and that's Mr. Jason Todd. When he went in his own, he literally carried an entire comic book franchise, and that had Starfire and Speedy in it. And he carried the comic book. We haven't had any inkling. They've said that he's basically dead in the Snyderverse, but they've never really brought him forward. Comic book wise, though, he's an important, powerful character in the animated movies. He's an important character in the Titan series. He's actually became an important character as kind of what would happen to Dick if Dick didn't have a good conscience. And yeah, I'm putting Jason Todd up. I think he's a super well-balanced character, well-written.
Yeah, I don't like Jason Todd at all, and personally, like when he becomes, I believe he becomes Red Hood. He's also like, and when he becomes Arkham Knight, I kind of see him more as on the villain side of things than a vigilante sort of thing. But so I'm going to say no because I probably see him more as a villain than a anti-hero, so to speak. But Robert, what do you say about Jason Todd?
Yeah, this one's interesting. Yeah, I'll say yes, sure. I like this character. I love what they did with this character in Batman Arkham Knight, the video game. I absolutely love that character. And I kind of push back against the idea that he's a villain more than a hero. I definitely think he gets redemption, at least in this game. Like, he gets redemption for the things he does, and he definitely chooses to forge his own path again instead of just like listening to the brainwashing and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I think, especially if we're talking like importance of characters, this is definitely top of the list as well. So, yeah, so yes.
So, Matt, it's down to you. Should we save Robin or should we kill Robin?
There's a reason why there was an entire storyline created around killing off this character. Because it's Jason Todd, the most annoying Robin of them all. I'm sorry. I never really read a lot of the Red Hood stuff. I know of it. I've never liked Jason Todd. He was always like, I get that they needed a Robin after Dick Grayson, but like they had a really shitty, annoying Robin, and that's why they killed him off. Like, I honestly believe, stealing from Kevin Smith, this line of like, even if it was like 90% say save him, 1% say kill him, oh, that kill him's win, because even the writers at a point were like, yeah, we really don't like this character. Let's kill him, but let's have it. The fans vote for it because we know they'll vote yes. So I have to say no. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't like Jason Todd.
But anyway,
I killed Robin.
But anyway, it's
All right,
back to me.
Joker.
But anyway,
I can't do a Joker though.
But anyway, it's
That's
back
a good
to me for my next pick.
Oh,
And I'm going to bring and I'm going to bring up for my next character. I'm going to bring up what's bound to become a really powerful Schmodown team, and it's obviously Shazam.
No, okay.
I yell it because of the exclamation mark. But this is a character who I wasn't too familiar with before his movie came out. I knew of the character. It wasn't until the movie which made me realize like how much this character is great, and why DC chose to take a risk in making this movie, because just because this is one that I will probably compare to Guardians of the Galaxy. Is like taking a risk on pet character who may not have been as known because for reasons. It'll be with Shazam. He's probably not as well known under his Shazam name because most people know him as Captain Marvel, which they changed because
there's a whole
yeah.
whole thing. Oh my Lord.
But Shazam is on the table. But Robert, what do you say about Shazam?
Yes, I say yes to Shazam. I've still only seen this movie once though, which is weird because I own it. But I've still only seen it the once in theaters. Maybe I'll go watch it tonight. But yeah, this movie's very, very funny. It is meta while also like it's self-referential while also like just being very smart about the way that it does it. It's not like matter of factly, it's not like still tripping into those tropes. And yeah, it's just this movie is a delight. And Shazam is a really fun character. So yeah.
Matt, what do you say about Shazam?
Okay, I'm going to be that guy. What I say about Captain Marvel, because that is his name, until Marvel decided they wanted a Captain Marvel, and it was a whole stuff. His name is Captain Marvel, guys, not Shazam. Shazam is the name of the wizard who gave him the powers, but he turns into Captain Marvel because he's a marvel of a man. See, in the 1940s, they were really on the head with this shit. I really enjoy this character. Being a big Superman fan, it's not a shock that I like this character because this character at his core is what if a 12-year-old had the powers of Superman, but still the mind of a 12-year-old. And I like that because I think for a lot of us who grew up with comic books and loving these superheroes, we all had those moments reading the comics, watching these movies or shows, and then going out in the backyard and being like, I'm Superman, I'm Batman. It's like, imagine if that actually happened. And Billy Batson is a great character. I adore the movie. It's in my top 10 favorite comic book movies. I think the portrayal that they did of both Billy and of Shazam, the hero, was great. And I also love him in the Injustice storyline, both the game and the comics. I think he adds a real like heart and a naivete to the Justice League because he's 13. He's like 12, 13, not like all the 30-plus-year-olds. And I like that. So yeah, Shazam, Captain Marvel, Billy Batson, whatever you want to call him.
Doug, what would you have said about Shazam?
I mean, he's already in the list. I'm okay with it. Do I like him that much? No, because his character's boring.
Okay. You're welcome.
But anyway, but Robert, it's back to you for your next nomination.
We're missing a big one, folks. We got to get Wonder Woman on here.
Yeah.
We'll bite the pick, and I'll throw my pick away, and we'll put her on. This is a character that rivals the other two of the big three for DC as far as popularity. The movie, while I have problems with it, I still think it's it's a well-made movie, and the performance by Gal Gadot is like really good. And that's just a strange way to word it, but you have a character that, at least in the DC universe, like in the DCEU, she's like so naive, but it doesn't come across as like annoying or dumb. Like it's just played really, really well. And yeah, I think we gotta have Wonder Woman on here.
Matt, what do you say about Wonder Woman? Oh, I hate Wonder Woman. Come on, guys. Don't we all just hate women? This is no, Wonder Woman's amazing. She's been great in so many iterations. Of course, Rob talked about Gal Gadot's performance. I've always loved her in Justice League Unlimited. Her character could have so easily fallen into that, like, having to, like, be stronger to be, like, one of the guys, but she's just, like, genuinely, it's just, like, at times better than the guys. And I think what they've done with her in both comics, animated, and live action, going back to, Linda Carter spinning around in an alleyway, she's a great character, and of course, she needs to be on this list.
Doug, what do you say about Wonder Woman?
This list would not be complete without having the complete Trinity on the list. So Wonder Woman's a yes. I don't even have to talk about it because the other two talked about it so poetically.
Yeah, Wonder Woman.
Like I hate Wonder Woman. Look, he's not denying it.
I mean, I would have said yes regardless.
It's because she doesn't have an Arrowverse version. That's why he doesn't like her.
It's true.
That we know of.
Oh, God. Look at this guy. Malcolm's like, she's gonna be in. She might be in Crisis on the other. Jeez, I just have a feeling everyone's gonna be in Crisis now.
I mean, why not go out with a bang? So
it's gonna be amazing.
I mean, Linda Carter has appeared on Arrowverse before, so getting her to reprise to Wonder Woman role was not going to be out of the street.
Yo, you imagine that scene where it's just like she shows up and she just starts spinning. It's like fuck yeah, and like all the people who hate like the pre-Arrowverse stuff are like, what the fuck's going on here?
No, it'll be so cool if we get a scene with Linda Carter as Wonder Woman, one of the Supermen, and Kevin Conroy in the one scene together.
You get that shot like in BVS where it's all three of the Trinity staying together. Yeah, that'd be great.
I thought she was with you.
She was with you.
But Matt, it's back to you for your next nomination.
Okay. I'm gonna go with he has not had a good film version made about him, but hopefully we don't hold that against Green Lantern. Green Lantern, Hal Jordan is the one that is my favorite. Guy Gardner fans, I apologize. Green Lantern, really interesting character, of course. He sort of starts out as different iteration. He's always a pilot, but sometimes he's a cocky asshole. Other times he's just a straight up hero before he gets chosen to be the Green Lantern. And then when he is, he's this really interesting, imaginative character that has had great versions, of course. I'm also a big fan of Jon Stewart, talking about Justice League Unlimited, which I'll mention a lot during this list. He's a character that is a vital part of the Justice League and the DC Universe in general. He's been at the core of a lot of the storylines since pretty much his introduction. So, Green Lantern. I know the Ryan Reynolds movie is crap, okay?
Doug, you look so excited when Green Lantern came up, but then Hal Jordan's name, you just sucked.
I sat down because he didn't mention the right Green Lantern. He didn't mention the most powerful Green Lantern, which is Kyle Rayner.
Okay.
I really like Hal, though, as a character. Hal himself, he does become essential in Kyle's journey, as well as other ring holders. He basically turns.
Oh, he becomes essential in like everyone except for like Stewart. Stewart was the only one established before Hal.
Stewart is just a beast. I don't know why we didn't mention him either.
Awesome.
No, but Hal. There's too many Green Lanterns to mention. But Green Lantern as a whole, we can't mention it like that. But Hal Jordan as a Green Lantern is probably the quintessential Green Lantern that you know of, or you kind of. He's got to be mentioned.
He's the most well-known.
He's
Lantern.
the most well-known.
He's the most well-known Lantern.
Probably no one knew who I was talking about when I said Kyle Rayner. But yeah, I'll give Hal a shot.
Hal appreciates it.
I mean, I like Hal Jordan as Green Lantern, but he's not my favorite Green Lantern.
Who is? Come on.
Maybe I'll bring him up later. But I'm going to give it a slight no to Hal Jordan. Robert, it's all on you now.
That's unfortunate because I'm also going to say no. It's never a character that's interested me. Green Lantern, Hal Jordan in general. Not only is the movie garbage, it's just not a character that I've ever gravitated towards or ever wanted to like dig into the lore or the history very much. It's just not a character that I respond to. So it has to be no for me.
See,
Doug?
this is something we should have talked about because I just put Green Lantern down as just like period all of them. I didn't know that we had to specifically choose one.
Well, you can't just say Robin. You'd have to specify.
You'd have to specify a little bit.
I guess. That's fine.
All right, so it's down to me. I think we need to bring some magic in this world, and maybe some dark magic. Might be just what we need. And a character that I love, basically, he speaks to the dead. He can transverse through different dimensions, and he's just a phenomenal character in general. If you've ever read any of his books, and that's John Constantine. Or Constantine, if people want it pronounced that way. It's actually Constantine. Sorry, guys. But yeah, no, I love this character as a whole. In Injustice, he saves the entire world in one of the comic books, and saves Batman, which is awesome. And he also has a daughter that not a lot of people know about.
Put him on the list.
He has a family, guys. He needs to make this list. He needs sponsors, guys.
So Constantine is on the table, and
he was part of the Arrowverse technically.
He is. I'm going to give it a slight no. I do like the character. Character's great, but I think for me personally, he's just outside of the top 12 and just. But yeah, Robert, what do you say about John Constantine?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes,
look, this movie is a lot of fun. If we're going movie version, man, 2005's Constantine is a grand old time. That is a very watchable movie. Keanu Reeves is so much fun in that movie. Everything. That movie is just a hoot. So yeah, it's not like great, but this is a character that just interests me, that fascinates me, a world that I gravitate to. So yeah.
Now, Matt, Constantine has a family. Does he make the list?
He has a family, guys.
He has a family
look.
that he keeps secret.
Yeah, and he's gonna, I guess, have to continue to keep them secret. Similar to what Doug said about Black Canary is kind of how I felt about Constantine. I actually don't hate the Keanu Reeves movie. I don't think it's amazing, but it's definitely one of those like TV movies for me where if it's on, I'll watch it. I like Keanu Reeves. I've never been drawn to the character of Constantine. The world, yes. The character, not so much. If we were doing top 20, probably let him slide in. But for top 12, there are other characters. I don't even know how many are on our list, but there are definitely characters
We
that
got
I
6.
over him. We have 6. God damn.
Five
We've got
left.
7.
Oh, we got 7.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
All right.
That's right.
Then yes,
I
that's
know.
really no. I'm sorry, John, that you have a family. I'm sorry.
But anyway, it's back to me, and I'm gonna bring up my favorite Green Lantern, and that's the John Stewart version. Like while the Hal Jordan one is fun, I think the John Stewart version sort of brought more to the role and just made it more interesting. And it's looking like it might be going the route of where Ed Diggle might be going for in the Arrowverse, but that's yet to be seen. But this is one that I only know from the animated ones from when I watched it, so I don't know much about the character, but I just know enough from the personality I've seen on the animated one to know that I really like it, and that think this version should be on the list. Robert, what do you say about John Stewart?
Again, the Green Lantern world is not one that attracts me. It's not one that I like. It's just not something that I like. Am dying to delve into. So unfortunately, I have to say no.
Matt, what do you say about Green Lantern John Stewart?
You fucking asshole. Going back to the points I said about John Stewart when I was talking about just Green Lantern overall, I love John Stewart. That was the Green Lantern that I was introduced to through Justice League Unlimited. And I loved him. In first grade, I dressed up as Green Lantern because of that show and because of that character. He's really great. He's a different Green Lantern from a lot of the other ones we follow. And in a really good way. His relation to the League has always been interesting. His relation to other Lanterns, like how whenever they sort of pair up in the comics, it's always great. That's why I keep hearing about this Green Lantern Corps movie. I kind of hope it is a buddy cop film between Hal Jordan and John Stewart, because I think the two of them are similar, but they're also so different that it'd be interesting. So yeah, John Stewart gets a yes.
Doug, what do you say about John Stewart Green Lantern?
He might have a family. I can't remember off the top of my head, though.
He does have a family. He has a brother that lives on Earth. He's a Marine. He's a Marine family. I know these things because I read the comic books. So
now he's a Marine with a family. So
he is. He's a Marine with a family.
You
He's got a lot of people's
Marine
support.
Corps.
It's so horrible. You're horrible, Matt.
I said yes.
So for the same reason that I'll give Hal Jordan a yes, I would give John Stewart a yes. The Green Lantern Corps is so underappreciated in this world when they protect the entire galaxy. So yeah,
Suck it, Guardians.
But if we go back to Robert. Robert, what's your next nomination?
My next one is one that some people may be controversial. I don't really think so. It's Aquaman. I really, really dig, especially Jason Momoa's take on this character. I think his stuff in Justice League is some of the funniest, most engaging parts of that movie. And I also think his solo movie is really dope. Just that is a world like the underwater world, everything about Atlantis, Momoa's sister relationship with Mira, his relationship with his mom. Like, I really like Aquaman. So I know he's like that cheesy dude who talks to fish, but also super badass, and I like the character. So I'm gonna go Aquaman.
Actually, the water does the talking, Rob.
You got me. But do the fish have families?
The fish have families.
That's
lot
gonna be
of
the whole
families.
thing is which heroes have families.
Aquaman has a family. Aquaman
Yeah.
has a family.
It does.
I mean, Matt, what would Vin Diesel say about family?
Look, do you see? They're about family. Look at all the guys. They got family. They're all about family. I love family. You love family. Fast and Furious. It's about family. Me and Dwayne, we're family again. Did you guys see a sweaty video where he said he liked me again? Because we're family. Oh man, I haven't done that in a while. Holy shit. I miss it. I didn't get the shades. I think you want to know my thoughts about Aquaman, not just family. That's also I have not done that impression in a while, so it's really shit. I really like Aquaman. I grew up as a kid, and I always liked him. And then, like, I got to that age to where the internet became a thing, and I found that Aquaman was like a meme. Like, people were real dicks to him. Like, I go to conventions, people have shirts like, I can kick Aquaman's ass. And I'm like, no, you couldn't. Like, Aquaman's a badass. My favorite version of Aquaman is one that I don't think everyone talks about, but it's actually Batman the Brave and the Bold, that show. That's kind of my favorite version because he is just so, like, happy and smiley, but he's also really cool and badass. And I've always liked Aquaman, and I always hate the fact that, like, everybody shits on him, and that's why I'm kind of glad that Jason Momoa has come in. And again, I like the more smiley, happy version, but I do like his more sort of badass, cool version. So yeah, I love Aquaman, and his dad is Django Fett, so of course I would say yes. And his mom is Chase Meridian from Batman Forever.
Doug, what do you say about Aquaman?
Oh, I didn't know Matt loved Aquaman so much. No, I genuinely like Aquaman. I like Aquaman from the New 52, where they revamped him and made him that badass that Jason Momoa, turned him fully into.
Oh yeah, you can see the New 52 influence.
It's 100% New 52 influence, and it's great. And I'm really glad that they did that because the character could have been really corny, but he's basically an underwater god. And like a lot of people didn't realize all the powers that he has. And it's great that it came forefronted on the movie. Yeah, Aquaman's 100% easy, yes. As I stab myself with my marker.
You and that marker, your family now.
For blood brothers.
But yeah, Aquaman does make the list. I personally, I do like the character. I'm actually not a big fan of Jason Momoa's version of him. But my favorite version of Aquaman is the one I'm disappointed that isn't Matt's. I like the one that was in Smallville for the brief time.
Yeah, no, yeah.
The guy from Blue Mountain State.
Great. Oh my god, yeah, Alan. He's great. His intro episode is amazing. Oh my god, I love that episode.
But yeah, Aquaman still makes the list. And we go over to Matt. Yeah,
we go over to what's your name again?
no, it was more of a that was more of a
No,
case.
I
I momentarily
I know exactly what you said. Okay, so
put up Aquaman.
5, 6.
We got 3 spots left.
Okay, we got 3 spots. Thank you. Goddamn. I'm gonna bring up Green Arrow. Oliver Queen Green Arrow. I love this character. What can you say? There's been a lot of different versions of him. There's been ones that lean far more into comedy, and then we have the Arrowverse version, which leans far more into the dark, harsh, broken man who was trapped on an island for 5 years. I I like both. I even like the one that we get in Dark Knight Returns, where he's kind of like, kind of like a bitter old man like Bruce. He's great. The character, a lot of these characters were introduced in their comics as just like a gimmick. He was just like a dude with a lot of arrows. But really good writers have come by and made him a really interesting, compelling character. My favorite version? I don't even know. Probably Smallville's. I love that version. I like that one really leans into the cocky sort of fun version of the character, but I also like the more darker interpretations that we have of him now. But Green Arrow. He's like an arrow. It's like poetry. Rhymes. I don't know what I'm doing.
But Doug, what do you say about Green Arrow?
He has a family.
See, the thing is, he doesn't have a family.
Yes, he does. Dead. No longer has a family.
Listen, I like punch bag arrows like the next person, and punching glove arrows like the next person. TNT arrows, yeah, they're fun. But that's what I remember the Green Arrow for. A lot of people were like Arrowverse, and I'm like, I found this boring after season 2. I watched Smallville all 9 seasons. I know what happens in Smallville, but I don't think he's top 12. I think he's a good character. I don't think he's a great character.
All right, Constantine.
Constantine's great. Shut up. Magical world rule.
Also, fact check, Doug. Smallville was 10 seasons, not 9.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that I left out the shitty season. The shitty season I left out. I'm sorry. I miscalculated.
Which one is that?
The shitty season where he reveals himself as Superman is the last episode. I remember that.
Oh, you shut.
and it got so bad that Michael Rosenbaum was like, "No, I can't do the show anymore."
But anyway, I actually got to say yes to Green Arrow. I do like I really like the character, and not just because of Stephen Amell, but like this character has gotten a lot throughout the various iterations, and I think it's only a matter of time before we actually get a movie version of the character as well.
I feel like once Arrow is done, they're gonna wait a couple of years and then do a movie version of him.
Yeah,
because he's so popular. I mean,
yeah,
freaking Arrowverse, for God's sake.
Yeah, I mean, I suspect that's the reason that they chose to end
Arrow,
but I mean, like Green Arrow is just one of those ones that when you see it written on paper is like guy who shoots arrows. It's not interesting on paper, but yet the way they've done it with the fact that he's got a whole bunch of trick arrows, and I believe he's put just like Hawkeye, because I think Hawkeye in the comics has trick arrows and stuff as well. I think that's kind of, I don't know who came up with the idea first, but
Robin Hood.
Robin Hood didn't have trick arrows,
but he was based off of Robin Hood.
I mean, that's not wrong, but
hey, you know what? Arrow has a family, Speedy. We all remember when Speedy was all hopped up on drugs and shit.
It's not his real family.
But also, Oliver Queen treats Team Arrow like his family. And so, but anyway, Robert,
take 3's.
What do you say about Green Arrow?
I gotta say no to this one. This is not top 12 for me. I think there's some other ones that I would rather see on here. I think Green Arrow is a good character. It's a fun character. The beginning of the show Arrow was really good. I fell off pretty quick after that. It's just not a character that I think leaves a lasting impression. So I have to say no on that one.
I've seen a pattern here, Malcolm. You and me agree a lot, and then Doug and Rob agree a lot, which is going to make, when we get down to the last spot, it's going to be fascinating, and then trying to rank this.
But anyway, Doug, it's back to you.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna start throwing out unconventional picks because
People without families.
people without families. That's not true. I'm gonna throw out a clone. Not really. He's not a clone. He's actually the legitimate child of Bruce Wayne. And I'm going with Damian Wayne. The sadistic person that kind of got wrangled into this whole world by his psycho mother, his completely sadistic grandfather, Ra's al Ghul, and became the ultimate warrior for justice. I think this character has been well done. When he dies, you see the immense effort Bruce goes to get his body back. He literally jumps in a suit that is made to kill himself in order to get just a body back. And then when Damon comes back and he gets superpowers from the crystal, and it shows you what he eventually becomes. He's just a super being, this person that you can't kill, but has a really tragic backstory that his mother ultimately made more clones of him to basically replace him and kill him. But yeah, no, Damian Wayne is, when we mention top DC characters, he's become a forefront for DC right now. He's a character that is going to eventually have a movie by himself. Wait and see.
It's gonna be a little bit.
I mean, I'll wait
Might be
and
waiting
see.
on that. But
It'll happen, guys.
I mean, I'll wait and see. And it'll depend on if the trailer's any good before I go see it, because I really.
Malcolm, how dare you judge a movie based off of its marketing?
But anyway, I really don't know much about the Damian Wayne character to be able to say yes to it. I've seen him like probably once or twice, but he's not gravitated towards me in those brief moments. So yeah. Well, but what do you say about Damian Wayne?
Again, this is a character I don't know a whole ton about. And I know that, like, I know of him, but I don't really know. Like, I think there's just not enough told about him really to be. I mean, this is top 12. So yeah, I gotta say no on this one. And I think unconventional picks are for honorable mentions, not when we have 3 spots left and have been going for an hour.
Oh,
So
damn, Rob.
no, I'm kidding. I'm messing with you. No, but yeah, for Damien, I gotta say no. I'm just messing with you about
I like the
unconventional.
shade that we are giving each other on this list. It's
Um,
really
Yeah,
beautiful.
I like to say no, Damien.
But Matt, what do you say about Damian Wayne?
I like Damien enough. I liked him a lot in Batman vs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. If I was really cool in that, his relationship with Bruce, which, by the way, great DC movie. Everyone should go and check out. It's always been someone where, like, he's not interesting. What he brings to the Bruce and Talia and Raish and the League, that's interesting. Him himself, I've never really found interesting. Again, I liked his portrayal in Batman vs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but I've always liked more, the stories that are sort of built out of the fact that Batman and Talia al Ghul had a child together. What that means. I think the character has potential to. I feel like you could do a good TV show. Maybe DC Universe can maybe do a Damian Wayne series to sort of build the character out more. But as of right now, I don't think he's top 12.
But yeah, it's back to me for my next nomination. And I'm going to bring up another person of color. I'm going to bring up Martian Manhunter because green is a color as well. This is a character which I've enjoyed so much, especially with his interpretation in Supergirl. And I think that works so well. But even outside that, like the way he's portrayed in the Injustice games and in the animated universe as well, it's just one of those interesting characters which it's like is kind of parallels Superman in a bit. It's like he's the last of his kind on Earth, so he thinks, and it's just showing that being the outsider on an unfamiliar planet, get once again how you react to it. Just it's one of those ones which I find a really interesting kind of premise, this whole stranger in a strange land scenario sort of thing. But Robert, what do you say about Martian Manhunter?
I've never read a comic with this character in it, and never been portrayed on screen that I've seen. So we have 3 spots left to fill. This is how you play the game of rank 'em. You know what? Sure, I'll say yes. This is just a character that I've heard lots of good things about, and I've heard that it's an interesting character, and I've never looked into it myself, but we need to fill some spots, folks. Yeah.
Matt, what do you say about Martian Manhunter?
I don't think this is how you play a game of rank. I think this is the game of it's been an hour. I want to go to bed. Fill up these spots. He might be a good character. Maybe. I don't know. I love it, Rob. Love your logic.
That's what happens.
That's fine. I like Martian Manhunter a lot, particularly bringing up Justice League Unlimited again. Which, by the way, Rob, I'll give you my password to DC Universe so you can watch this amazing show and see Martian Manhunter. When he was introduced to the Justice League in the, I want to say 70s, probably earlier 60s, 70s, he wasn't really that interesting. He was made because of the McCarthy trials and shit. It was this whole idea of an alien hiding in human clothing, quite literally, even more than Superman, because Superman at least always 100% of the time looked like a human, whereas Martian Manhunter didn't. Thankfully, other writers came by and added more to that character, and he's an integral part in stuff like Injustice and Justice League Unlimited. He's a great character. Of course, Supergirl kind of came out of nowhere. I remember it was just like all of a sudden, I don't really watch Supergirl, but then it was like, oh, Martian Manhunter's on that show. Cool. His costume, though, on that show is something else. Malcolm's angry. He's like, that costume's amazing. You shut your damn mouth.
I actually do like the costume. But,
I know it. It's okay, Malcolm. It's fine. It's a
but
cosplay.
but so there was a yes, Matt.
Oh yeah.
Doug, what would you have said about Martian Manhunter?
Yeah, Martian Manhunter is great. I actually like his I can speak. It's getting late, guys. Portrayal in Smallville. I think in Smallville he's really great in that show. I really would like to actually see a Martian Manhunter where we see him have the past drama of what happens to his entire race. He isn't the only one left, but he kind of is. Depends on the cartoon that you're watching. But yeah, no, he's a fine pick. Do I think he's great? No, but he's fine.
But Robert, it's back to you for your next nomination. What do you say?
I'm going to go with Cyborg. I think this is the other big Justice League member we haven't really brought up yet. Not only for the performance of Ray Fisher in Justice League, but also I really like what the animated version of this character has been, whether it's his inclusion in Teen Titans. I think that this character has a lot of interesting things to bring to the table. The design of this character is pretty iconic, and it's a character I want to see more of. So yeah, I'm gonna say Cyborg.
Matt, what do you say about Cyborg?
Booyah. I love this character. I like what Ray Fisher has done with him in the Justice League film. I really like what Doom Patrol has done with him, but this character is always going to be from the Teen Titans animated series. He's just such a fascinating character. I like the storylines where he sort of grappled with wanting to be more human, but knowing that he can't be, and kind of what that's like to be reminded of what he used to be. And there was a great episode to where his battery kept running low and he just couldn't fight, and he would just stop, and sort of he felt very much like just he couldn't really be a good member of the Titans. And yeah, I've always just loved this character, and for someone who's had a lot of adversity in his life to still come out and still be a fun character and a funny character, and I mean, booyah.
But Doug was busy consulting a friend. What do you say about Cyborg?
Yeah, I had to phone a friend. We had to make sure everything was all right with this pick. Absolutely. I love Cyborg. The bikers told me to put it in. It's a probably good bet and a good feel for number 2. We got one slot after this, and I'm perfectly okay with Cyborg being on the list. His backstory, especially the New 52, is heart-wrenching. He's this all-American football player who gets blown up by a mother box and gets these incredible powers. Yeah, it's great, but he can't be human. He can't feel human emotion anymore. The mother box basically speaks to him and tells him what to feel the entire time until he learns how to overwrite the code, but he still can't be a human. He is an amazing character when written really well. Yeah, I'm 100% okay with this.
Yeah, I would have suggested to Cyborg as well. But I've loved all the interpretations of Cyborg, even his characterization in Teen Titans Go. I mean, Teen Titans Go is one of those shows in which I enjoy it. I don't get why it gets so much hate.
Really?
It's just it's just a fun show for kids using the characters. But yeah, Matt, what is your next nomination?
All right, trying to fill the last spot. I'm gonna bring up a character who at first was introduced as just a copy of another character, but then grew into her own really fascinating, interesting character. I'm going with Supergirl. When she was first introduced in the comics, it was really just here's female Superman. But she's grown. I like in the 90s comics when her clone and Lex Luthor actually form a relationship and kind of what that represents. And then, of course, her in the Superman animated series and Justice League Unlimited, and then Smallville. I think she's grown into a really great, interesting character, and she's different. And then, of course, in Arrowverse, and she's different from Superman. She has a little bit more naivete. She's younger, and she kind of she's always trying to do good. But I also like the fact that there's this mantle of her cousin that she is always trying to live up to, and it makes for a lot of really interesting stories for her. So, Kara Zor-El, my next choice.
But Doug, what do you say about Supergirl?
Supergirl. I knew she was going to be brought up at some point. And the answer I have to give is I'm going to say no. I don't like this character. I've never liked this character. I don't think she's well written. I never think she's well written. I think she's always that throw-in character that they need if they can't have Superman. And that's not saying anything that she's a carbon copy, but it does feel like it when she's written. I don't think that she has a lot of well-written storylines. Same feeling that I have with Black Canary. She's a great side character.
Malcolm's just bored of her.
No, I do. I'm God that what used to be on the same train as Doug and thought that she was only a side character and all that. But then, ever since I've seen Supergirl, that sort of kind of changed my opinion on the character a lot, because I never thought that should have gotten a standalone TV series of her, but now that we have, and it works so well. And while people will argue, is like, oh, they only started it because they Warner Brothers wouldn't let Superman on TV. I don't think that's the case. I think Supergirl works so well in the Arrowverse, and I think she has proven that she can lead her own show well as well. Robert, it's down to you. What do you say about Supergirl?
Well, the movie's trash.
I was gonna say, I was like,
Um,
thinking completely off movies.
I do own it on Blu-ray, but it's pretty bad.
Why?
I paid $17 for it.
Oh my god!
What?
Paid more than
I
$5.
paid like $5 for the VHS when
It's a true story.
Wow, Rob, I'm sorry.
And no, I don't think it was 17. It was like 13 or 14, but still.
You know,
Um,
double digits on that, man.
It was more than 10. I paid too many doll hairs.
Too many doll hairs.
That being said, I think Supergirl is a more interesting character than Superman is. So I have to say yes. I think Superman is a pretty boring character, but I think Supergirl she's just more complex and like maybe not better villains or anything like that. Shout out Faye Dunaway, but yeah, I just find the character more watchable, and I kind of gravitate more to the stories that she's in more than Superman. So you gotta go Supergirl, yeah, sure.
And with that, Supergirl falls out the last spot on the list. Now we get to the fun part of actually ranking them. So how it works is we're all going to write down what we want at 12, and then whichever has the most votes is going to be at 12. And it's definitely quite tough because for me, because I like all of these. So.
Yeah, no, this is definitely not an easy ranking list.
That just goes to show that DC has good peeps.
They have a lot of great characters.
Doug, who do you have for 12?
Supergirl.
Robert, who do you have for 12?
Jon Stewart, Green Lantern.
Matt, who do you have for 12?
Rorschach.
I've got one of those three, and as much as I like the character, I put Green Lantern.
Wow, I'm shocked.
Well, I mean, at least Dick Grayson didn't get the shaft first off the gate.
Malcolm, now you're making jokes that I would. When you hit that, you know you're doing something wrong, all right?
Or am I doing something right?
No, I'd probably say wrong.
All right, Doug. All right. Can't wait to have your monthly meeting.
Oh, okay. Will there be a salary increase?
Yeah, sure. You'll go from
Zero to zero?
0.00.
Oh, thank you.
There's zero on there.
Oh, you're the best, Matt. I love those extra zeros in my paycheck.
Matt, who do you have for 11?
It's all Rorschach.
Robert?
I have Martian Manhunter.
I also have Rorschach. Doug?
I haven't changed it.
But for that, Rorschach is going to be 11.
Oh, God, no. There's a lot of really good characters. It sucks.
All right. Rob, who do you have for 10?
I still have Martian Manhunter.
I also have Martian Manhunter. Doug?
Supergirl.
Matt?
I have Martian Manhunter. not even a point. All you guys see is like you can't even tell that I don't have it.
Turn your brightness down just a little bit.
Don't tell me what to do. Shit. Oh no. I hate Rankum. Oh.
I'm going to go first on this. I've got Aquaman for 9. Doug, who do you have for 9?
Hasn't changed.
Matt,
Supergirl. Look at that. I turned my brightness down. I didn't do
Rob,
shit.
Cyborg.
and now Matt. Now Doug has to change his vote for the first time in this list.
That's right.
But Doug, who do you have for 8?
Cyborg.
Matt,
Aquaman. Oh god. No. Oh, no. Oh,
Robert.
Cyborg.
oh crap. No one's watching us live. Shit.
Nobody's watching this.
I'm going to bring up the wheel. So I actually find that on my phone.
What if we do top 10 rules, which is just make this easier on us? What if we see who gets the 8 spot, and then whoever loses gets 7?
I mean, we can do that too.
I've been listening to a lot of top 10 at work, so I just have Matt Nostrum Roke
So
in
how's
my
that-
ear.
How's that go?
Literally, what it means is if we spin, Aquaman would get, let's say he gets 8, then Cyborg would get 7, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, that's a quicker way to run down up. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean,
More
would you-
efficient.
Well, I mean, also I was
would
just
you
saying
put-
that because like Cyborg was going to be my next pick after Aquaman. Aquaman got on that, so.
I mean, when you don't have a chat to help you, it's
Yeah, it really isn't fun.
Well, normally there's a 5th panelist.
That as well,
yeah.
but well,
I mean, normally we have at least a few people in there, but we don't have our normal Star Drew or the cool guy in the chat
yeah,
at all.
what the guys?
All right, I've got the wheel set up.
I was gonna say I can't see shit. No.
And it's Aquaman is going to be 8, which makes Cyborg 7.
I need a. No, I don't.
All right.
Aquaman 8, Cyborg 7.
I'm not that upset with that.
So we've got Nightwing, Superman, Batman, The Flash, Wonder Woman, and Shazam left. Such a tough choice for me. But Robert, who do you have for 6?
I have Flash.
I've got Nightwing. Doug?
Shazam.
Matt?
Shazam. Superman, Batman, oh man, Nightwing, Superman, Batman, Flash, and Wonder Woman.
But I've still got Nightwing. Doug, who do you have for 5?
The Flash.
Matt, who do you have for 5?
I have Flash. I was trying to
Wonder
buy time.
Woman. I have Wonder Woman.
It's all right. I wasn't sure if you were paused or you just.
I was trying to buy
Stay
time. So who's left?
Batman,
Nightwing, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and that's it.
Yeah. Oh wait.
I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, it's Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, and Nightwing.
It's all right. The reason I said wait for myself is because I realised I was about to write the wrong name on the banner.
Wait, what the fuck? Man, you have one conversation with your mother and crazy shit happens.
But Doug, who do you have for number 4?
Wonder Woman.
Matt,
Wonder Woman.
Robert,
Superman.
What the fuck, Rob?
and
Are you
Night
surprised I
Room.
didn't do it earlier?
Actually, I am. I'm surprised when we got to tell you we're like Superman because you knew I would find you.
Sorry, but Liam Neeson isn't a DC superhero.
But well, actually, some people
Actually,
might say
he
Ra's al
wasn't a
Ghul.
hero, though. He wasn't a hero.
Some people could say Ra's al Ghul is a hero, maybe.
Psychopaths.
Yeah,
She's a
sure.
Psychopaths.
Hey, I said some people. not
Todd
many
Phillips.
people.
Todd Phillips, might make a movie about him one day.
Yeah, Todd Phillips is not in that sane people category.
Wait, Wonder Woman was 4, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
number one. Yeah.
Yeah, just
God
because you
damn it,
want
Malcolm.
Nightwing there. doesn't
Yeah,
mean-
right. Doesn't mean that other people want Nightwing
Come
there.
on, Malcolm.
Fucking Malcolm. You know what? I bet you know what's funny, Malcolm? You didn't say anything. I don't think we all would have questioned it. We'd be like, oh, okay, I guess it did. No one would have questioned you.
I actually didn't see it until I pointed it out.
I'll
So
be
yeah.
the funniest thing is I erased my board as well because I put that. Matt, who do you have for number 3?
Dick always rises. Nightwing.
I don't have to ask one because I know what he's got.
Hey
Doug-
guys, guess what? We just figured out our top 3 because I went Superman too.
Oh boy, let's go.
What you specifically went? What Doug? You specifically went Superman 2?
I specifically went Superman 2 because I want my boy at number 2.
So we gotta fight this one again. Yeah.
We gotta fight this one again.
I mean, for this one, I'm not going to do top 10 rules just because they will automatically give us our number 1. So
Yeah, which that's no fun.
But we can all vote and be like, oh, look what our number 1 is.
No, it's just so grouchy, man. Because that's real.
but in saying that, it will depend on who ends up getting the number 3 spot because it's going to be interesting to see where people land if it ends up being Nightwing and Superman.
You
mean Nightman, Batman?
Batman.
That's what I mean, but
I mean, not really.
Oh,
I kind of already gave how I wanted it to happen.
I mean,
no.
Depending on what universe Batman once was Superman.
And Dick Grayson was also Batman.
Superman was dressed up as Batman in a great animated series episode, and Bane's
the
like
wheel
beating him
is
up.
spinning. And Superman is going to be free.
Damn right. Damn right.
Yeah, voting for number
Yeah,
1.
bullshit, you guys. Fuck this. I hate. You know what? You guys all suck.
But I didn't make it as epic as it could be.
Oh, be quiet.
Now we vote for our number 1, right?
Yeah.
Yes, stupid. I'm really fascinated to see what this looks like. Oh, stop smiling, Doug. Wipe the smile off your fucking face. What the goddamn smile off your face.
Doug, who do you have for number one?
Batman.
Matt, who do you have for number one?
I have Grouchy Crying Detective, man. Batman. I just realized that Nightwing also fits into that category. So
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Robert has B-Man.
I'm sorry, Jerry Seinfeld is not on this list, Rob.
And I've got a really bad drawing of the Batman symbol, but
Was it run over?
It looks like a Rorschach of Batman.
it's if Batman gained a lot of weight.
Would you say he's Fat Man at that point?
I believe that is.
I mean, if he became Fat Man, he could do a podcast on Batman.
That's true. I am absolutely happy with this list.
Oh, I'm happy. I'm really, really happy for you, Doug. Tell us more.
I'm just happy, guys. It came out perfect.
Oh, that's perfect.
But anyway,
IMO.
But anyway, to recap, the list at 12 we've got Green Lantern, John Stewart. At 11 we've got Rorschach. At 10 we've got Martian Manhunter. At 9 we've got Supergirl. At 8 we've got Aquaman. At 7 we've got Cyborg. At 6 we've got Shazam. At 5 we've got The Flash. At 4 we've got Wonder Woman. At 3 we've got Superman.
Oh shit!
At 2 we've got Nightwing. And at number 1 we've got Batman.
You didn't do it right, Malcolm. It's Batman.
But
let's go with the Chris Nolan version. That'd be mouth.
But to the fun list, I'm going to have a poll with the options for next week's Rankum topic up here in a bit. But we'll get to the plugs. Competing in a Batman Arkham Formula Random match this week. To answer
That's why I put Batman at 1. That's why. That's for the plug.
But Robert, where can people find you online?
Yeah, you can find me personally on Twitter and Letterboxd at RBRTPRKR98. That's my first and last name, vowels plus a year. And you can find me all over the family trivia sphere, doing stuff at Multiplex and Full Metal Geek, and pretty much everywhere around.
Matt, where can people find you online?
As always, can find me not being shocked at how random lists turn out sometimes. You can also find me on Twitter at Kearns_Matthew. MattMovie611 on YouTube and WordPress, and right here. Ooh, Rob just gave the fuck up. You can also find me as the host of Second Look episode on Frighteners, hopefully coming out for Halloween. To let everyone know the reason why I haven't been on the summit, which hopefully I'll be back on, is because I started a job 2 weeks ago, full time. So it's a very consuming thing, so hopefully I'll be getting back into a work sphere. And yeah, fucking Batman, just goddamn. Shut up, Doug.
Doug, where can people find you online?
People can find me online loving this list because Batman and Nightwing top this list. No, but in all honesty, find me this week on Bloody Manor. Check out last week's episode where we did all about the Scream franchise.
What a Bloody Manor this week.
Also find me this week. We're talking this week on Bloody Manor. We're talking The Purge, the entire franchise. So we're gonna have a lot of fun with that. Maybe I'll purge some people from the Bloody Manor. I don't know how that show works. I just run it. Also, check out this Friday. I have the person that's sitting next to me just put his hands above his head because he's going to be in for a wild surprise on Filmatic Reviews changing over to Filmatic Entertainment, where we are starting a D&D campaign, an all online D&D campaign. I'm excited to see what they can do, if they can best my monsters. Yes, I am a nerd. I am a self-proclaimed nerd, so don't hate me. Don't hate me for my. Don't nerd shame me.
It's all right.
Don't nerd shame me.
wasn't about to say is the irony of calling someone a nerd on an episode of Rankable about superheroes.
Right.
I'm sorry. No, time out. Have you seen the shit I got behind me? I will never be able to call someone a fucking nerd. Ever in my life.
Yeah, yep. Check out those things that I got coming up this week. It's going to be a lot of fun.
But anyway, you can also find me hosting Rankin every Sunday. You can also find me hosting my show Bracketeers every day. It's usually as it is a bit on Sundays as well before then, but sometimes I do it on a Saturday depending on when I feel like it. But you can find it, watch it, and see who takes out which actresses move on to another round. As I announced on today's one, Tom Hanks won the actors poll, so that to a surprise of no one.
I'm okay with that. Who was he going up against again?
Robert De Niro.
Oh, yeah.
But you can also find me hosting Formula Random, and which this, as I said, this week is Batman Arkham. And it's going to be Robert versus Ryan, and the winner of that will go on to face Cody in the new year. And yeah, that's basically all my plugs. Just usual Letterboxd, Twitter, Facebook, and all that at Melkor. And until next week, keep listing shit.
Superman was
Batman.